So where we are is, first spirit, then matter, then life, versus first matter, then life, then spirit, and that raised the question of, what do you mean by spirit in this story? Okay. But if you think about it, and you think about how that hydrogen turned into humility, maybe the real question is, what is matter? You know, what is this stuff? You know, matter now leads off the story, and it has a lot to account for as leading off the story. It has a lot to set up, like what happened a year later out of the blue at 2 minutes to midnight. Okay? So in the old story of everything, matter was clear cut. You know, I mean, you could stood on it, you bumped into it, matter. In the new story, to this layperson at least, it gets real fuzzy and even downright spooky. Okay. Problem number one, now you see it, now you don't. Astronomers tell us that most matter is dark. Look out into the universe and you can't see dark matter. You can't detect it with any instrument. You know it's there only because it pulls at visible matter, bending light, for example, or affecting the rotational speed of galaxies. Go to the microscopic scale and there's more trouble. Matter becomes atoms, then protons and neutrons and electrons, then particles like gluons, leptons, mesons, muons, and then maybe finally quarks. But what are these fundamental particles? Forces, geometric points, chunks of space-time, strings of energy? No one seems to know. And what about antimatter? It seems that every particle has an antiparticle with an opposite charge. An antiquark to go with a quark, for example. Particle-antiparticle pairs can annihilate each other. That's why antimatter is not found on Earth, except very briefly. When some comes into existence, it's immediately annihilated by ordinary matter. And while you're rubbing your head, remember what the stuff turns into, all on its own. It seems as though in the new story, spirit is simply matter's third stage. Matter, life, spirit. It seems as if spirit is destined to arise out of matter. So Loren Eiseley, who's not an especially religious man, was, I'm sorry.
Spirit is destined to?
Well, it seems like in the new story, matter will quite naturally give rise to life, and that will quite naturally give rise to spirit, the things we call spirit, all on its own. There's something in the nature of matter that makes it do that. That's what I mean? Okay. So here's Loren Eiseley writing in his book, The Immense Journey. If dead matter has reared up this curious landscape of fiddling crickets, song sparrows, and wandering men, it must be plain, even to the most devoted materialist, that the matter of which he speaks contains amazing, if not dreadful, powers. Amazing, if not dreadful, powers. Two religious thinkers have gotten more specific about those powers. They say spirit is inherent in matter. It was part of the original matter. And so you have someone like Teilhard de Chardin, who said, there is neither spirit nor matter in the world. The stuff of the universe is spirit-matter. No other substance but this could produce the human molecule. Or Thomas Berry, we might say that the simplest atomic structure, the hydrogen atom, already expresses a radiant intelligibility, a psychic as well as a physical aspect of reality. So for these folks, they see spirit as part of matter, as inside matter, whatever you mean by that. So about a year ago in Geneva, Switzerland, the world's newest and largest and highest energy particle accelerator started to get cranked up. It's called the LHC, or Large Hadron Collider. One of the things scientists hope to discover is the Higgs, okay, Higgs particle, Higgs field, whatever. They think the Higgs will tell them how energy converts into mass, how a field becomes a particle, how matter ends up as something that we all bump into. Sounds a bit like creation. In fact, some have called the LHC the Genesis machine, and some have called the Higgs, the most fundamental particle there is, the God particle. Okay? I'll keep my eye on the LHC. I'll go to the website every now and then. But I don't expect them to find the God particle. Okay? Maybe they'll find the Higgs, but not the God particle. I don't believe the LHC can address that puzzling detail in the new story, that claim that matter all on its own turns into spirit.
We've gone through shifts of, the huge shift in 300 or so, between 300 and 400, of the influence of Hellenistic thought into emerging Christian thought. It was a huge shift away from the sense that there is no split between matter and spirit, to moving us to thinking that spirit is good and matter is bad, and so maybe some of the maybe that's some of the learnings.
Okay.